Before I begin, I would like to thank all of my family and friends who flew in from Wisconsin and from all over for being here today. In the gallery, I have my mom, Betty, my sister, Janet, my brothers, Stan and Tobin, and more cousins than I can count on a few hands. They're all over. Most important, I want to recognize my wife, Jana, and our children, Liza, Charlie, and Sam. Hey, guys. I also want to thank Speaker Boehner. For almost 5 years, he led this House. For nearly 25 years, he served it. Not many people can match his accomplishments, the offices he held, the laws he passed. But what really sets John apart is he's a man of character, a true class act. He is without a question the gentleman from Ohio. So please join me in saying one last time, thank you, Speaker Boehner. Now I know how he felt. It's not until you hold this gavel, stand in this spot, look out and see all 435 members of this House as if all America is sitting right in front of you. It's not till then that you feel it. The weight of responsibility, the gravity of the moment. You know, as I stand here, I can't help but think of something Harry Truman once said. The day after Franklin Roosevelt died, Truman became president, and he told a group of reporters, "If you ever pray, pray for me now." When they told me yesterday what had happened, I felt like the moon, the stars, and all the planets had fallen on me. We should all feel that way. A lot is on our shoulders. So if you ever pray, let's pray for each other. Republicans for Democrats, and Democrats for Republicans. And I don't mean pray for a conversion, all right? Pray for a deeper understanding, because when you're up here, you see it so clearly. Wherever you come from, whatever you believe, we are all in the same boat. I never thought I'd be Speaker. But early in my life, I wanted to serve this House. I thought this place was exhilarating, because here you can make a difference. If you had a good idea, if you worked hard, you could make it happen. You could improve people's lives. To me, the House of Representatives represents what's best of America, the boundless opportunity to do good. But let's be frank. The House is broken. We're not solving problems. We're adding to them. And I am not interested in laying blame. We are not settling scores. We are wiping the slate clean. Neither the members nor the people are satisfied with how things are going. We need to make some changes, starting with how the House does business. We need to let every member contribute, not once they've earned their stripes, but now. I come at this job as a two-time committee chair. The committees should retake the lead in drafting all major legislation. If you know the issue, you should write the bill. Let's open up the process. Let people participate. And they might change their mind. A neglected minority will gum up the works. A respected minority will work in good faith. Instead of trying to stop the majority, they might try to become the majority. In other words, we need to return to regular order. Now, I know this sounds like process. It's actually a matter of principle. We are the body closest to the people. Every 2 years, we face the voters and sometimes face the music. But we do not echo the people, we represent the people. We are supposed to study up and do the homework that they cannot do. So when we do not follow regular order, when we rush to pass bills that a lot of us don't understand, we are not doing our job. Only a fully functioning House can truly represent the people. And if there were ever a time for us to step up, this would be that time. America does not feel strong anymore because the working people of America do not feel strong anymore. I'm talking about the people who mind the store and grow the food and walk the beat and pay the taxes and raise the family. They do not sit in this House. They do not have fancy titles. But they are the people who make this country work, and this House should work for them. Here's the problem. They're working hard, they're paying a lot, they're trying to do right by their families, and they're going nowhere fast. They never get a raise, they never get a break, the bills keep piling up, and the taxes and the debt. They're working harder than ever before to get ahead, and yet they're falling further behind. They feel robbed. They feel cheated by their birthright, of their birthright. They're not asking for any favors. They just want a fair chance. And they are losing faith that they will ever get it. Then they look at Washington, and all they see is chaos. What a relief to them it would be if we finally got our acts together. What a weight off of their shoulders. How reassuring it would be if we actually fixed the tax code, put patients in charge of their health care, grew our economy, strengthened our military, lifted people out of poverty, and paid down our debt. At this point, nothing could be more inspiring than a job well done. Nothing could stir the heart more than real, concrete results. The cynics will scoff. They'll say it's not possible. You better believe we're going to try. We will not duck the tough issues. We will take them head on. We are going to do all we can do so that working people get their strength back and people not working get their lives back. No more favors for the few, Opportunity for all. That is our motto. You know, I often talk about a need for a vision. I'm not sure I ever really said what I meant. We solve problems here, yes. We create a lot of them too. But at bottom, we vindicate a way of life. We show by our work that free people can govern themselves. They can solve their own problems. They can make their own decisions. They can deliberate, collaborate, and get the job done. We show that self-government is not only more efficient and more effective, it's more fulfilling. In fact, we show it is that struggle, that hard work, that very achievement itself that makes us free. That is what we do here. And we will not always agree. Not all of us, not all of the time. But we should not hide our disagreements. We should embrace them. We have nothing to fear from honest differences honestly stated. If you have ideas, let's hear them. I believe that a greater clarity between us can lead to greater charity among us. And there's every reason to have hope. When the first speaker took the gavel, he looked out at a room of 30 people, representing a nation of 3 million. Today, as I look out at each and every one of you, we represent a nation of 300 million. So when I hear people say that America doesn't have it, we are done, we are spent, I don't believe it. I believe with every fiber of my being that we can renew the American idea. Now, our task is to make us all believe. My friends, you have done me a great honor. The people of this country, they've done all of us a great honor. Now let's prove ourselves worthy of it. Let's seize the moment. Let's rise to the occasion. And when we are done, let us say that we left the people, all the people, more united, happy, and free. Thank you.